February 14th, 2026. Valentine's Day. How stupid. Just my opinion. Like and subscribe. The $1 Investor. This short video applies game theory, the study of strategic decision-making, to explain how someone starting with little or no wealth can strategically generate real economic value. Here are the core ideas. 1. Choose the right game to play. Not all economic games, markets, industries, jobs, are equal. Some are zero-sum, your gain is someone else's loss. Others are positive-sum, every participant can grow. Wealth buildup requires selecting positive-sum scenarios where innovation, leverage, or cooperation can compound gains. 2. Change the payoff structure. In standard labor or salary games, reward is tied to time worked. Real wealth creation comes from shifting to game types, where your actions generate scale, products, platforms, intellectual property. 3. Leverage strategic advantages. Use information asymmetry, network effects, strategic timing, and compounding feedback loops to tilt game dynamics in your favor. Game theory frames these not as luck, but as calculable incentives and moves. High-level takeaways. Hard work alone isn't enough. You must play in arenas where small strategic moves lead to outsized outcomes. Understanding incentives and equilibrium points is key to finding opportunities where value creation isn't capped by zero-sum competition. Scaling up through systems, networks, or leverage is the mechanism through which wealth compounds. Part 1. Core summary of the video. The video explains wealth building using game theory, which is the study of strategic decision-making under incentives. The central idea: wealth isn't about working harder. It's about choosing the right game and structuring it in your favor. Step 1. Choose the right game. Some games are zero-sum. If I win, you lose. Promotions. Trading against others. Fighting for limited positions. Other games are positive-sum. Everyone can grow. Investing in productive assets. Entrepreneurship. Long-term compounding systems. If you stay in a zero-sum game, effort alone won't make you wealthy. If you enter a positive-sum game, small inputs can grow exponentially. Investing in broad market index funds is a positive-sum game. The economy grows, companies grow, productivity grows. Your $1 a day isn't competing with anyone. It's participating in expansion. Step 2. Change the payoff structure. Most people are stuck in time to money. That's a linear payoff structure. Wealth requires capital to compounding to scale. This is nonlinear. When you invest, your money works. It earns returns. Those returns earn returns. The curve bends upward. The longer the time horizon, the more dramatic the effect. The video emphasizes you don't get rich by increasing effort. You get rich by changing the structure of the game. Step 3. Use time and incentives strategically. Game theory highlights incentives, feedback loops, compounding advantages. The earlier you start, the more time works in your favor. Time transforms small numbers into big numbers. The edge isn't intelligence, it's duration. Part 2. Now let's implement my life into this framework. I'm living proof of long-term participation, structured systems, multiple income streams, pensions, discipline over decades. I have UFCW pension, Teamsters pension, AC Transit, ATU pension. Those are structured systems. I didn't gamble. I participated consistently. That's game theory in action. 1. Everybody thinks you need a lot of money to get rich. But what if I told you the real secret isn't money? It's choosing the right game. I watched a talk by Zhang Shuiqin about using game theory to build wealth from nothing, and it perfectly explains why $1 a day can change your life. 2. Explaining the wrong game. Let's talk about working for time, chasing overtime, fighting for raises, competing for limited spots. Now let's relate it to my life. I worked hard jobs, I showed up, I clocked in. But I realized something. If I only relied on wages, I was stuck in a linear game. Let's be real. This connects emotionally. 3. The right game, compounding. I'll explain. $1 per day equals $365 per year. Over 30 to 40 years invested in the market with 7 to 10% average returns. It snowballs. Not because the dollar is big, but because the system scales. I'll tie it to my pensions. I didn't become financially secure because I hit the lottery. I became secure because I stayed in systems that compound. My pensions weren't built in 1 year. They were built over decades. That's powerful. 4. Why starting early matters. I'll break it down simply. If you start at 20 versus 40, the difference isn't double. It's exponential. Time is the multiplier. Game theory calls this a compounding feedback loop. You can say, the market doesn't reward who starts big, it rewards who starts early. 5. My wins so far. Let's talk about how consistency built my pensions, how showing up daily mattered, how small deposits stacked, how discipline beats intensity. I'll frame it like this. I didn't win because I was smarter than anyone. I won because I stayed in the game. That's my brand. 6. Now let's close with my core message. Let's tie it together. You don't need thousands to start. You need $1 and a decision. Choose a positive sum game. Change the payoff structure. Let time compound. You likely feel behind, feel broke, feel like it's too late. My job is show you mathematically and emotionally that starting small is not weak. Starting late is worse than starting small. Discipline beats income size. Final positioning statement. Game theory says pick the right game. I picked the long game. $1 a day in the right system, started early enough, beats waiting for a big check that never comes. Final summary. Opening hook. Valentine's Day energy. Everybody's scared of the wrong things. They're scared they don't make enough money. They're scared they started too late. They're scared $1 isn't enough. But what if the problem isn't your money? What if the problem is the game you're playing? I was watching a talk by Zhang Suechin about game theory and wealth, and it hit me. I didn't build stability because I made huge money. I built it because I stayed in the right game. Section 1. Most people are playing the wrong game. Most people are stuck in a time for money trap. Clock in, clock out, overtime, wait for a raise, compete for promotion. That's a zero-sum structure. If you win, someone else loses. There's only so much to go around. I worked hard jobs, real jobs, show up in the dark, leave in the dark type jobs, but I realized something. If I only relied on wages, I was capped. That's not a money problem. That's a game structure problem. Section 2. The right game is positive sum. Game theory says, choose a game where the pie grows. That's investing. That's ownership. That's long-term compounding. When you invest, you're not fighting someone for scraps. You're participating in growth. Companies expand, technology improves, productivity increases. That's positive sum. And here's the key. It doesn't care if you start with $1 or $1,000. It cares how long you stay in the game. Section 3. Time is the real multiplier. Let's talk numbers. $1 a day equals $365 a year. That doesn't sound impressive, but at 8% average market returns over 40 years, that turns into real money. Not because the dollar was big, because the system compounded. The market doesn't reward who starts big, it rewards who starts early. That's the cheat code. Section 4. My life is proof. I didn't get lucky. I built a UFCW pension, a Teamsters pension, an AC Transit, a TU pension, 3 systems, 3 compounding structures, 3 long games. None of those paid off overnight. They paid off because I stayed. I didn't win because I was smarter than anyone. I won because I stayed in the game long enough for it to work. That's it. Consistency greater than intensity. Section 5, the $1 investor message. You don't need a big inheritance, a six-figure salary, a crypto moonshot. You need a positive sum system, automatic investing, time, discipline. $1 a day removes excuses. It proves something powerful. It's not about how much you start with. It's about whether you start. Section 6. Hard truth. Waiting to have more money before investing? That's the trap. Because time is the real asset. If you start at 20 with $1 a day, you beat someone who starts at 40 with $10 a day. That's math. That's compounding. That's game theory in real life. Closing. Strong plus on my brand. Game theory says, choose the right game. I chose the long game. I didn't build wealth in 1 year. I built it over decades. $1 a day in the right system, started early enough, beats waiting for a big check that never comes. Like and subscribe. The $1 Investor.